fair, accurate, to the point. This is Face the State on Montana's news station.
Good morning. I'm joined by Montana State University paleontologist Dr. Jack Horner. He is curator here at the Museum of the Rockies in Bozeman and a recent recipient of a Lifetime Achievement Award. Congratulations, Dr. Horner.
Thank you.
Tell us about this. It is the Romer Simpson Medal. You flew out to California last week to receive this. What was your initial reaction when you heard that you've been given this Lifetime Achievement Award?
Well, I was shocked. I mean, I'm in a business that is just fun, and one never thinks about getting, awards for something like having fun. So that was a huge surprise.
This award given by the Society of Vertebrate Paleontology, you're only, 67 years old, so already gotten a Lifetime Achievement Award, but I imagine you have more work to do.
Yeah, I hope no one thinks I'm going to slow down. I feel like I'm just getting revved up.
So walk me back through, talk about when you first fell in love with dinosaurs.
I was actually born this way. I don't remember a time in my life where I wasn't interested in dinosaurs. I was born and raised in Shelby, northern Montana, and I was born in what I would call the Cretaceous ocean, sediments that were deposited at the same time the dinosaurs were running around. And so I could go out in my backyard and actually find seashells from the time of the dinosaurs. And the dinosaur sediments, the sediments where we could get dinosaur bones, were no more than 20 or 30 miles away. So I was looking for shelled marine fossils when I was really little, and then when my father realized that I was interested in dinosaurs, he took me to, my father was in the gravel business, so he knew a lot about geology. And he remembered when he was young riding his horse across the prairie near Depouiller and seeing big bones sticking out of some of the rocks. So he took me back there, and that's where I found my first dinosaur bone at the age of 8. And then later, while I was in high school, I found my first dinosaur skeleton near Cutbank. And then I did, when I was in high school, I did a science project on dinosaurs from the Havre area, comparing them to some dinosaurs in Canada. So, I don't know, I've been doing dinosaurs my whole life.
When you were 8 and you found that bone, did you have any idea at that age what you had uncovered?
No, not well. I mean, I knew it was a dinosaur bone. I still have it. It's on my desk. I don't really know exactly what it is. It's about the size of my fist, but I have kept it all these years, and I've kept it because it was my passion then, and it's my passion now.
You have really put Montana and Montana State University on the map with your research. Can you tell me about the discovery in 1978 of the Maiasaurus?
Well, I was working at Princeton University at the time, and of course I'd gone to school at the University of Montana, and I'd studied paleontology. I didn't do very well there. But I had gotten a job at Princeton, and the paleontologist that I was working for at Princeton was very, very enthusiastic about me doing actual research. And so I was, in the summer times, coming back to Montana and just looking for stuff. And in 1977, I had gone back to the Depouiller area where I'd found my first dinosaur bone and looked for more stuff, and actually found an egg, a dinosaur egg. And it got me thinking about baby dinosaurs and juvenile dinosaurs, and I actually was writing a paper about juvenile dinosaurs. And so in 1978, I came out to Montana actually looking for juvenile dinosaurs with my friend Bob Makala, who was a science teacher in Rudyard. And he and I wandered all over the place looking for juvenile dinosaurs, and we didn't find any. And then we were meeting a paleontologist from Berkeley, up north of Rudyard, where we had found some fossil mammals. And Bill Clemens was his name, and he came out and looked at the mammals that we'd found and was very impressed. And he said that he had just gotten a report from a woman in the area around north or south of De Puyre, in Bynum, that she had found a dinosaur. And so Bill Clemens suggested that Bob and I actually go look at that dinosaur and see if we could identify it. And so we did. We drove out there, and Marion Brandvold, the woman there, her and her family had found a large duckbill dinosaur that we identified. And then we walked around her rock shop and identified all the rest of the bones that she had. And as we were leaving, she said, "Oh, by the way, I have these little bones. I don't know what they are. Could you identify them for me?" And she put out her hand, and in her hand was some tiny little bones that I immediately recognized as baby dinosaurs. And I was shocked. I mean, exactly what I was looking for, and we found them in a rock shop.
Unbelievable. What a great story. You've been a part of so much research on dinosaurs and a lot of digs. Can you tell me about the Wankle T-Rex find? I want to get to where that specimen is headed, but before we get there, tell me about that.
Well, the Wankle T-Rex was found by Kathy Wankle. She was the wife of Tom Wankle, who was at they're ranchers in eastern Montana, south of Jordan. And Tom was out fishing, and Kathy was wandering around the Badlands looking for fossils, and came upon some bones sticking out of a little hillside, and she wasn't sure what they were, so she brought them in to our museum to have them identified. And I had never seen the kinds of bones that she brought in, but I knew what it was, and it was only one thing it could be. It was actually the arm bones of a meat-eating dinosaur, and she was in the Hell Creek Formation, and the only meat-eating dinosaur out there, or at least big one, is a Tyrannosaurus rex.
What did you think when you first laid your eyes on those bones?
Well, I thought a couple of things. First off, it was the first arm of a Tyrannosaurus rex, and that was pretty exciting. But there were 3 or 4 bones in that, and having 3 or 4 bones associated with one another suggests that it's actually a skeleton. You know, when you go out in the field, you can find isolated bones all the time. I mean, they're all over the place. But an association suggests that you have an actual skeleton, and so I was very excited that we might have another T-Rex skeleton.
And we do.
We do.
And that Wankle T-Rex was slated to go to the Smithsonian to be on display. That, of course, got delayed due to the government shutdown. I understand the bones are still waiting to go. They're in boxes. So what's the status of that trip?
They are. First off, we had the skeleton here for many years. We had it on display for a number of years. But we have, since the Wankle T-Rex was found, we found another dozen T-Rex skeletons. And so we have the most here. And the Smithsonian doesn't have any. And so that would be really cool if we, Montana, is where they mostly come from, put one on display in the Smithsonian. So it is packaged up. It is ready to go. And in April sometime, now that the government's running again, hopefully it'll still be running then, it will be shipped off, and in a number of years, when they finish their dinosaur haul, we'll have a Montana dinosaur as the centerpiece of their new dinosaur haul.
Very cool. Well, speaking of T-Rex, I think A lot of people familiar with T-Rex from the Jurassic Park movies. Of course, it's something you've had quite a hand in. Jurassic Park 4 in the works.
It's in the works,
And
yes.
you mentioned just in California to receive your award and also doing some consulting while you were there. Tell me about this.
Yes, I was. The former producer of Jurassic Park, the woman who was produced all the other three, Kathy Kennedy. She is now the president of Lucasfilm. So her husband, Frank Marshall, who did all the Indiana Jones movies, is now the producer of Jurassic Park. And so I met he and Kathy in New York, and we talked a little bit about the upcoming movie. And it's got a really scary dinosaur in it. They gave me the script. I've read it. It's pretty cool. I think everybody's going to really like it.
You're on board with it then?
I am, yes.
Coming out in 2015, we have to wait almost 2 years.
Well, it takes a while to make it.
How did you first get involved with the first Jurassic Park films and the subsequent sequels?
Well, it's an interesting story. Michael Crichton wrote the book, and I'm extremely dyslexic, so I don't read anything. And someone called me up and said, "Jack, you're in a book about dinosaurs." I don't know. Michael Crichton based his character on a paleontologist in Montana. So, and then when Steven Spielberg decided to make the movie, he called me and asked me if I would be the technical advisor.
Very cool. And what's your opinion? Do you feel like that character was? Do you agree with how the character Dr. Grant was portrayed?
It's a dinosaur.
I'm just glad he hasn't gotten eaten yet.
All right, so we'll wait with bated breath for Jurassic Park
Yes.
4. I mean, to go from movie sets to digs in the field, it's a really wide range. Like you said earlier, you just have fun. But what is your favorite part of being a paleontologist?
I don't have a favorite part. I love every minute of every one of my days. I have a great staff and a great bunch of students, and my staff, Pat Leegey, for example, does all my paperwork. I can't read, and so I've got someone that actually takes care of this stuff and allows me to do my research. And I've got Carrie Ansell and Ellen Lamb and Bob Harmon. I mean, these are people who work really hard to make my job easier, so I can have fun, and hopefully they're having fun too.
Dr. Horner, you mentioned you are dyslexic, and yet you've achieved such success in publishing papers, publishing books in the world of academia. You mentioned you have a lot of good people that help you do that, but do you consider yourself a role model for young kids or young adults who perhaps have some learning disabilities?
Well, I hope so. I mean, I guess so. I work a lot with dyslexic kids, and I do a lot of things with dyslexic associations and things like that. So I like to give kids hope that dyslexia is not a bad thing. It's actually a really good thing.
All right. Well, it has been a pleasure speaking with you, and we're hopeful now you'll take us on a tour.
Absolutely.
Great. All right, Dr. Horner, we are now in the basement of the Museum of the Rockies, and where exactly are we at in this room?
This is our collection room.
Okay.
So when specimens when they're finished preparation, then we either bring them in here. This is where basically sort of everything is kept. This is where people will come and study them, and this is where we prep them to actually go up on display as well. So
Okay.
So there's a lot of stuff in here, mostly all dinosaurs. There are a few other things, but it's the dinosaurs that are most important. And here's, we're sending a specimen to the Smithsonian, the Wankle T-Rex, but we have a lot more of them. And one of them we have is called the Pex Rex, and we're going to mount that here in our museum. So you just get an idea what
Wow.
we have here. These are the upper jaws
Oh my
Rex.
goodness.
So-
And where was this dinosaur found?
This was found. It's actually found in Macomb County, very close to Fort Peck.
Gotcha.
Very close to the dam.
Right.
So
Where other specimens have been found, right?
a lot
Around there?
We actually, the Wankle T-Rex was also from Macomb County, just south of there. So, yes, we have T-Rexes from all over eastern Montana.
So these are the jaws. How
Yep.
much of this dinosaur do you have?
It's a pretty good skeleton. In fact, it's not quite as complete as the Wankle T-Rex. And it's not quite as big, but it's a formidable specimen. It's an adult T-Rex.
Can we look at any of the other pieces of this
Well,
fossil?
Here's one of its teeth.
Oh, wow.
You can feel the serrations.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's sharp,
Yeah. Well,
as it should be.
as it should be. That's right. Here's the lower jaws. Here's an interesting bone. This is the wishbone. So this is one of the characteristics that unites dinosaurs and birds. So
Which you've been studying now for several years, right?
I have, yes, yeah. So, there's a lot of characters that unite them. Birds really didn't invent much of anything. Dinosaurs invented feathers and hollow bones and wishbones and, basically everything we think of as a bird characteristic, dinosaurs had first.
Now, how old is this specimen?
Well, the T-Rex itself, is found in rocks that are 66 million years old, and the dinosaur, as far as its individual age, is around 16.
Okay. Interesting. And how long will it take? How long has it taken to clean this out and then to put it together so it can be on display for people to enjoy?
Well, this specimen was actually collected and prepared by people, by a group in Fort Peck.
Okay.
So it took them quite a while.
Yeah.
We will put we'll put a lot more hours into it to get it mounted and put on display. But it will be put on display in the next couple of years up in the Hall of Horns and Teeth.
Exciting. Dr. Horner, what is it, do you think, part of your job we witnessed you earlier, saying hi to kids, meeting kids, talking to kids about dinosaurs. What is it, do you think, about dinosaurs that get kids so excited?
Well, one thing for sure is their size. I mean, this is a toe bone of a T-Rex. One toe bone. They're enormous animals. But it's also, about the fact that they're just so different from anything alive today. And they're gone. They're imagination engines. I mean, kids really like things that they can learn about that their parents don't know about. And so, dinosaurs offer offer kids, the opportunity to memorize their names and tell their parents about them.
I see your face light up when you talk about kids. It seems like you get a lot of enjoyment about talking to them about your work.
Well, kids actually know more about dinosaurs than most adults do. So, I can talk to them about them, and they know what I'm talking about.
Okay, so you showed us some of the bones. Obviously, such a large specimen can't fit in just a few drawers.
Right.
So here's the rest of it.
So this is the rest of the Pex Rex specimen.
Wow.
It's just lots of, it's a big skeleton.
And this whole wall right here.
This whole wall is just, it's all parts and pieces of the T-Rex that we're putting together.
Do you have an idea the number of bones
Oh,
in this?
I haven't counted them.
No.
A lot.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So those will all fit into a dinosaur shape. We
They
hope.
will all fit into a dinosaur shape. So this is the prep room. This is where our preparators actually when we have a specimen out of the field, they bring it in here, they cut open the jacket, and the preparators start cleaning the rock out of it.
And the jacket is like a plaster?
Yeah, I'll show you. Here's
Okay.
a good one over here. This is a really good one. This is, well, this is one that's already open. Here's one that's not open yet.
Oh, wow.
So it comes in looking like that, and then they cut the jacket open, and they have to start cleaning the rock out. So this is rock, this is bone. This one is coming along pretty well.
And what are we looking at here? This looks like a leg bone?
This is a leg bone. This is a leg bone of one of the long-necked sauropods,
Okay.
like a diplodocus. And this was found near Livingston,
Oh, okay. Not that far away.
not very far away. No?
Interesting.
And when so this is Carrie, and Carrie is working very hard on. Carrie is actually preparing the skull of
interesting.
the sauropod.
Okay.
So
And by preparing, what exactly is she doing?
she's using a little sandblaster, basically, that is blasting off the rock off of the bone.
That's great.
Quite a process. Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine a long process.
A very long process, yes. And,
So when they come in looking like this.
they come in looking like this, and then they open them up so they clean till they look like that, and then oftentimes, so here's one here, and this one is actually, we have cleaned the rock off of most of it, and then
Wow.
it was actually on the other side. It was
Okay.
upside down from this, and then they put rubber over the top of it to mold it, and then flipped it over, and now they're taking the rock off this side, and once they have the whole specimen out, this is the neck. Carrie is working on the skull that was sitting right here, and we're taking the whole thing out, and then when we have it all out, we'll have all the bones, plus we'll have a mold of this thing, so we can put it back together the way it was.
So these are all from the same dinosaur.
Yes, these are all
Okay.
from the same diplodocus.
And how long does the process of cleaning the bones out take? Are we talking
Well,
days,
it
weeks,
depends.
months?
Here's another jacket behind you. This is a duckbill dinosaur that some of our students are working on, and you can see it's taking a lot longer. Here you can see the bone, and this is the rock. It's very hard to tell them apart, but it's a whole rib cage of a duckbill dinosaur.
Oh, interesting.
And the students come in when, in between classes to work on this thing. So this is a specimen that was found near Rudyard, and one of the things that we do is we don't keep all of our specimens here. Some specimens go back to the areas where we find them. So this specimen will actually go back to the museum in Rudyard, so the people there can see the
enjoy it.
specimens that came from their areas.
Now, to the untrained eye, it's hard to tell what's bone and what's rock. So how long of a process for, say, a student that's
Well,
on one of the digs? It's just something they learn in the field?
It's something they learn in the field,
Yeah.
and it's something they learn in the lab here when they, It's
Interesting.
all a learning process, and we're at Montana State University, so we're in the education business.
Pretty hands-on work.
It is, absolutely. Yep.
Are there any other specimens in the lab down here we can take a look at?
Well, let's see. What do we got? This is the skull of this long-necked sauropod, this diplodocus, and skulls of these kinds of dinosaurs are really rare. And out of our one site near Livingston, we have 3 skulls so far.
Wow.
I mean, it's great. So this is one of them. It's hard to it's the back of the skull. This would have been the eye, and then the front of the skull is missing.
And this is a plant-eating dinosaur?
Well, it's not missing. It's over here.
Over there in another piece?
It's another piece, right?
And what do we know
This
about?
is a plant-eating dinosaur, yep, from the Jurassic age. I don't like these kinds of dinosaurs much myself, but
Why is that?
but I have a graduate student that really likes them, so he will use this for part of his thesis.
And why do you say that?
Well, brontosaurs, sauropods are these big monstrous things with huge bodies and tiny little heads. And to collect one, can take years just to collect one specimen. I like baby dinosaurs I can put in a Ziploc bag and I can collect lots of in short periods of time.
So she could be working on cleaning just the skull for quite some time?
How long have you been working on it, Carrie? It's going to take her a while.
Yeah. Couple
Yeah.
months?
And you got several months left, right? Yeah. So, it just takes a long time.
And I
this
see-
is just the skull. This is a little
Right.
piece of this big
Right.
dinosaur.
And I see a toothbrush. Looks like an important tool to have on hand when doing this. What is that for?
Oh, just scrubbing.
Scrubbing? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, dental picks.
Dental picks, brushes, air scribes, lots of glue. Yeah. It's an interesting process. You have to have a lot of patience. And Carrie has prepared most of the fossils that we have in our dinosaur hall upstairs.
Okay.
So she's been here a long time, and she has lots of patience. This is our histology lab. This is a place where we actually, after the bones have been prepared, we bring them in here, and oftentimes we'll cut them open to look at the internal structure of the bone, because there's as much information inside as there is outside.
Interesting.
So we actually slice the bone open, and then the histology preparators actually take this bone and put it in plastic so they can make very thin slices. So we can look at it under a microscope and tell things like, how fast the dinosaur grew, how old it was when it died, what its physiology was like. And this lab is one of, 3 or 4 in the whole world.
That's doing this, cutting into
Yes,
bones.
Yes.
Do you ever think twice about cutting into a fossil that's so old?
No, I don't. A lot of people do. A lot of people think of bones as being really precious, but like I say, there's more information inside than there is outside. And so we can learn things about dinosaurs that no one has ever known before because they thought they were so precious. And we can put them back together so you can't even tell that we'd ever taken them apart.
Well, Dr. Horner, you, as we talked about earlier, recently won this Lifetime Achievement Award. So what are you focusing on now? What's in the future for you and your work?
Well, just continue to do the same thing. We have one of the best, biggest field programs in the world. We cut bones open. We look for, we study the cellular and molecular biology of dinosaurs. I think, our imagination sort of leads us here.
All right, well, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Thanks for watching Face the State. This has been a presentation of Montana's news station. Fair, accurate, to the point.